1, 2, 3, and action. Hello and welcome to your regular Friday live stream. It's Konstantin here. We've got Gray in town. How are you, Gray?
I'm really well. It's a rather miserable, rainy day in London, but we'll give you a very warm welcome to the Friday Fandango with Kon here.
Absolutely. Hello, Per, Simon, Ed, Hannem, Rolf, Thor, Nikan, Randall Brunder, Colin Brahma, Simon Ma, Christopher Clark. So many people in the chat. Greg Lawn, Andy Hayter, Magnus Norden, brilliant. Dave Walker, Robert M, brilliant. Tadeusz, who else here? Ian J, Bob McLaughlin, and Richard Howland, all high angle as well. Hello, everyone, for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about your favorite camera and lens combination. So please share this with us in the live chat. And if you've never joined our live chat, please do that because, first of all, it's fun. You got so many like-minded people in the chat. Also, please let me know if you can hear us and see us okay. So I'm going to quickly check. Dave Walker says, hello, guys, loud and clear. And as usual, we share our personal stories, anecdotes. Great.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's start it off with the best lens combination and camera combination. So you've done some music photography. Mm-hmm. What would be the best camera and lens combo?
In those days?
Well, I'd say in those days, and then we think how we can apply it to the current lineup.
Oh, I see. Well, in those days, it would have been... What was I using? I'm just trying to think. I used a trick. Well, it would have been a Nikon F and... probably, just trying to think to get the date. Probably something like the 85 2 I used, and sometimes a wide angle if I got stage access.
Normally, because nowadays they kind of bring you up straight to the stage, right? So what was it back in the day, and what kind of gigs did you shoot? Was it like a small little clubs, or were there stadiums?
Yeah, no.
Wembley, you know.
That's right. No, I didn't do any of those. No, it was hot, sweaty clubs. You had to fight your way to the front.
Nice and cozy. Nice
and cozy, sweat pouring off the walls, and so sometimes I use that, and occasionally I would use my Rolleiflex T, and to see over the crows, I'd hold it upside down, like.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Shoot upwards.
What lens that Rolleiflex T would have? Was it like one of those 80 mils?
Or 75, I think.
75, yeah, and it's a 6x6, yeah.
6x6, yeah, 120 film.
Okay.
Loved that camera.
Okay. Well, I think we have people in the chat who do some night gig photography as well. I think if we have to apply a lot of situations to the current world, I think something like 14-24, 24-70, and 70-100 2.8 zoom lenses probably will be the answer to a lot of things.
Yeah, they were the holy trio, weren't they? 14,
absolutely.
24, 70, 70-100, all fast lenses. And if you had a DSLR, to me, there was nothing to beat, and still is nothing to beat the D850.
That's right. And I guess if you're doing a lot of small crown places with lots of photographers around where you have to fight for the place, then you got to stand up for yourself, really, and dominate the space, you know. So thank you very much, Randall. He opens up our coffee fund. Thank you very much, Randall. He says, sold all my Canon gear. That's all we always love when sentence starts like this. Also, sold my Canon gear, bought Nikon Z 24-70 Mark II 2.8, Z28 to 135 power zoom, the video zoom, 200 f2 mount, and finally Nikon Z 50mm kit. I've used 24-70 2.8 last Saturday when me and Becky were filming some Tamron lenses reviews, and it grew on me. It's an interesting lens. I have 24-70 Mark I, and I think it's a very capable lens. But the Mark II version, because it's got internal zoom, so it doesn't actually extend when you zoom in and zoom out, it's quite nice to have, especially in, let's say, in conditions that we have now, when it's kind of pouring rain. You want to have as least amount of different holes possible, really.
That's right, yeah. Or maybe with the rain that is today, we'd need an Iconis.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please share your favorite camera lens combination in the chat, and we're going to read your comments as well. Simon Ma says, good morning from Toronto, Kon Gray. Always appreciate your YouTube live videos, a fantastic show and coffee.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ed says, D850 and 24-70 tilt and shift lens. It adds some large format capabilities to 35mm photography without need of post-processing jiggery pokery. I would say so. I
love that word.
We will use it all the time now. That's the thing. We always look for this obscure words, and it's basically going to stick to us for another year between me and Becky. But yeah, 24 tilt and shift lens, if you're into architecture photography, is absolutely fantastic. 45 and 85 lens, absolutely fantastic as well. I used 85 tilt and shift for some macro food photography, and because it allows you to shift your depth of field plane from horizontal to almost vertical, it's quite useful if you, let's say, you have your strawberry here and you got some other object slightly behind, so you can make them in focus and everything else out of focus. Obviously, the 19mm, the last tilt and shift lens that they ever produced as well, is a fantastic lens as well. Not many of those around, and we haven't seen them in our secondhand department for a while. Rolf says kind of replies to your Nikon F recommendation. He says Nikon F with 50mm 1.4. That's a great combination. Hello from Sweden. Nikon recommends 400mm 2.8 for football. It's interesting to see, actually, because I go to a lot of matches, the Premier League, and a lot of guys have very different lenses. It's normally I can see the Crystal Palace official photographer. He's on Z9s nowadays, so he's got two Z9 bodies, and he generally have one of the long lenses. It's funny how they hang in all those things. Yeah. So it's a 400 or 600mm hanging off the body, so they're not supporting it or anything. And then he would have something like 24-70 or 14-24 as a second body, so that way he can do close-ups as well as the telephoto shots.
Were you talking about that? Do you remember, was it the 12 to 1700 mil manual focus lens that Nikon made?
The bazooka. I know the Sigma one because it had so really funny Amazon reviews.
Well, we had one here. This is an AIS manual focus lens. It was either, I think it was like 12 to 1700 or 12 to 1800, and it was designed to photograph the baseball diamond arenas. Okay. Both in the United States and in Japan, where they're very keen on baseball. And this is in the height of 35mm film, and it was then £53,000
at the time.
At the time, and we had one here.
Wow! And
it came in a box that needed two of us to carry. Heaven knows, how you got it. And I've only ever, and in fact, the one we had a slight mark on the outside, and there was a brochure, and the brochure had the same mark. So I think they must have made just a handful just to say, we can do it.
Oh, I see.
Just as a test.
Yeah, that was way before me, Gray, that's for sure. Because you showed me the, I think it was either catalog or one of the photographs.
We had one on a tripod outside the shop.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and Reuters had one, and they approached us a couple of years ago to see how much we would pay for it, but it was not in great condition, as you can imagine, and obviously has a very limited market now. That's right.
I think, I don't know if Sigma still makes it, but they make similar lens.
Do they?
And it's got this kind of green finish and everything. It's the reviews are there. Was such a wonderful lens. I photographed the Death Star with this lens and things like this. So if you go to Amazon and type in this Sigma lens, I don't remember what the focal distances are, but they're still there. Colin Brahma says good morning to everyone. He says my favorite combo is my Z9 with 180 to 400 lens. I think what we need to do is when you give us a recommendation of your favorite lens and camera combination, then also give us the type of photography that you use them for. So I assume this one's probably either wildlife or sport. Could be some flight shows, I guess, as well.
What do you think if you took them in order, say 1 to 5, what do you think the subjects are that have the most popularity?
You mean photography genres?
Would it be travel first?
Ooh, well, travel is
Wildlife?
I would say I wouldn't call it. It's an interesting one because obviously travel photography, I guess it's not. Is it a genre though? Is it a commercial genre? Let's say this. I think it's something that people just shoot naturally when they travel.
Exactly.
Unless you're one of those bloggers, it's normally the destination to visit, and it's normally have a photograph of a woman wearing a beautiful dress and a hat.
Yeah.
All the blogs look like this. But I think if we look at that, let's say, genres, I think probably wildlife is a big one, very popular among dentists. No, I'm kidding. But I guess wildlife is a big one. Obviously, portraiture. From personal on the personal level, I love street photography and portraiture. Those are genres for me. I don't know how big they are on the list, but I think wildlife is up there. Macro is definitely up there. Yeah, I don't know. What architecture, photography, landscape? Oh, landscape, of course.
Landscape, yeah. I would have thought landscape would have been fairly high on the agenda.
What do you think is the most popular one?
I think it might be a toss-up between wildlife and travel.
But it's interesting because obviously wildlife, the price of entry is quite high. So a lot of people, when they're starting out, they don't realize. Well, a lot of people, we had, let's say, people who buying, let's say, G5000 camera. They would buy 18-200 or 18-300 lens, which is good all-rounder. And then they say, I'm going to safari. What do I buy? And at this point, suddenly, it becomes quite expensive. So normally we would always say, just why won't you rent something because it's not that expensive? Or a lot of people probably buy something like 80-400 or let's say 150-600, 180-600 lenses. But even then, it's not several £100. We're looking into £1,000 entry.
It's an investment, really. And if it's your passion.
That's true.
If it's your passion, then why not? Because I find even people with fairly humble, if I could use that word, incomes, when they have a passion for something, whether it's photography or hi-fi or something, they buy the best that they possibly can get.
Tell me all about it. As I said, we had one customer. I think he bought one of those top cameras at the time, G5 or something, and 24-70, 700, and the bill was about £8,000. And we obviously talked and says, well, it's quite an expensive gear altogether. And he said, well, I had to soundproof my listening room, and that was 20,000 plus. So, and that's just soundproofing. So those amps can get very, very expensive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, could I just interject? It would be great if you could give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's absolutely free, but it helps us enormously continue to bring you these programs. So if you would, we'd be enormously grateful, and thank you.
Absolutely. This broadcast is sponsored by you. Greg Lohan says, film era, F3 HP 105 2.5. Good combo. Obviously, 105-25 is what Afghan Girl. Famous shot, beautiful lens. I have a pre-AI version that's been AI'd, so it's got this nice color ring around it. Really nice lens. Still keep it. Don't use it as often as I would hope for, but the results are magical. Rundle says ZF and 28mm is good combo. Z6 and 40mm. Z8 and 28-400 and Z is 26 or 35 1.4 lenses. Interesting combo. Obviously, each camera has its own lens on it. That way, I guess you don't need to change lenses all the time.
No, that's true.
So normally, you buy. We always say when you buy a second lens, get a second camera.
Yes.
Yeah,
why not?
not?
I had somebody who quite well known many years ago as quite a big, I think he likes to be called a society photographer, but back those perhaps he dropped his camera and he said, what am I going to do? And I said, reach into your bag to pick up your replacement camera, because if that's your living, you've got to have a backup.
Absolutely.
And be prepared for anything.
It was interesting to me because obviously we're talking about professional photographers here, not the hobbyists that let's say do a commercial job occasionally, but professional photographers. It was sometimes puzzling to me when people come in and say, well, I dropped my camera. I need a replacement ASAP. It's a warranty repair. Well, no, you dropped it. But the question was, well, if you're a professional photographer and you earn a living, you need to have a second body. It doesn't need to be the same camera. Let's say it doesn't need to be a second Z9. Let's say, but it could be a smaller body that can save you on a day like this, which is unfortunate. But it was interesting. It was just interesting to me that how a lot of professional photographers didn't have a second body.
Yeah, I know, because I found out if you prepare for an emergency, it usually doesn't happen.
Absolutely. And again, we're talking about professional photographers, not enthusiasts. No, exactly. That's the thing. It's a different thing. And obviously, if you are enthusiast and it's your hobby, obviously having a second body is quite expensive. It's interesting for us because obviously we do review a lot of gear and we go through a lot of cameras. We have access to a lot of equipment. Let's say I have a ZF for my personal use, and then I have access to Z8, which the custody of me and Becky are sharing. If I have a commercial job, I would just shoot with a Z8, but I have access to those cameras. A lot of people don't. So when we sometimes review the, let's say, cameras or lenses, we have to mention, stating that, well, this is a better all-rounder, let's say, than this camera, because for a very simple reason, you can have just one camera and it does it all what you can throw at it, but this specific body may be tailored more towards a different use. And again, once you go on the internet and you look at the comments, people kind of get assumption that, you're saying the wrong thing because it doesn't fit what they like to do with that camera.
No, exactly, yeah. And, and sometimes when you read some of the things that they say, you realize that somewhere there's a village missing an idiot.
Andy Hayter says, my favorite was D200, which I used for 17 years. That's incredible. That's how long the camera should last. And Andy, remind me, I know you upgraded to D850, as you say here, but was it actually, is the D200 still working? Because I assume it's still working.
It was a terrific camera, I thought.
Absolutely. Yeah, the CCD sensor that Andy again mentions, it just gives a different color. Again, people, YouTubers on YouTube now call those CCD cameras saying this camera produces film-like images. First of all, none of them are because they're digital, but CCD sensor definitely has a very different characteristic from CMOS. D200 was my first digital Nikon.
Was it?
Yes, because I was studying at the City of Westminster College, and that's what they had, the technicians had. And that's how I had access. The D200 and 17 to 55 2.8, which recently been replaced with 16 to 50 DX lens. And it was great. Coming from F100, it felt very similar. I did a lot of studio work. I think everything up to 800 ISO was absolutely fine, and then obviously it gets a little bit grainy after this. But yes, like skin tone reproduction was absolutely amazing on that. Right. Speaking of portrait and studio photographers, my recommendation probably would be, if you have to look at the camera now, I would go for Z8 personally with, H5 1.2, I guess, but I still can get away with H5 1.4 GF mount lens via FTZ adapter. And that is a fantastic combo. I would still get probably 50 as well, especially if your studio has not enough space. So 50 can probably get you a full height shot if necessary. And then 85, you can go for close-up. Sometimes you want to get a macro lens if you're doing very beauty shots, which is, good for, let's say, makeup and things like this. But 85 probably would be my recommendation. Again, still toying with the idea of 1.2. It's a bit out of my reach financially. So I'm waiting for those Black Friday deals to kick in.
Yes.
All right, let's look at more of your comments here. Robert is in Chili, Dover, Massachusetts. Andy says, actually, it was D200 with 18200 zoom. Great all-rounder. Absolutely agree with you. We now have Tamron 18300 for Z-series cameras, which was a good combo. Greg Lohan recommends D700 and 7200 f4G lens, which was good, fairly light combo back in the day. A lot of people keep asking for 7200 f4 for Z-mount lens, but we now have 3 lenses within 7200 focal distance. So we got 7200 Nikon, 2.8. We also have 70 to 180 budget version of Nikon, or what people call Tamron lens, which is cheaper than Nikon, while still being Nikon. And then we also have a Tamron version, which is based on generation 2 of that design, which is again, Tamron just released very recently. My recommendation on this one, we've tested Nikon 70-180 and Tamron 70-180. If I have to give you a quick conclusion on that, is Tamron lens is better optically. Nikon lens is almost there optically, almost as good, but much better built. The price-wise, currently they're more or less the same. So I think with that assumption, I think a lot of people would buy Nikon just for the build and weather sealants, because in terms of image quality, as I say, there's very little difference. Okay, so let's see. Andy shot 60,000 photos on D200. That's good. Tadeusz recommends D700 with 105 defocus control lens. Fantastic. Those
which defocus?
105 f2 DC. A lot of people still love those lenses, 135 and 105.
No, they are always popular.
Do you know anything? Why did these lenses come to be, actually? Or was there any decision? Because they're quite niche in their own.
Very niche, and I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that I never ever saw a review of them in any of the photographic magazines. Maybe they felt it was a bit too specialized, and they would always go for something that they'd list on the front cover of the magazine that would attract a broader buying photographic public. That and the 135 version. I would guess the 105 was slightly more popular. But I've seen the results from it. It is still a remarkable lens. Have you ever tried one?
Yes. I actually, at some point, I had 135 f2.
Did you?
Which I loved, and it was good addition to 85 as well, because 105 is a bit too close, and then you have a nice gap. So for outdoors portraiture, I loved it. I did find it being a little bit finicky using the actual defocus control feature, because you need to remember which aperture you're on, and then you need to set the foreground, the rearground defocus ring to exactly the same aperture, otherwise you get soft focus. And when you in the middle of a shoot and you can change the apertures all the time, and you're going to change the position all the time, sometimes I found it too finicky. So I use it actually most of the time just as a standard prime lens. So with the defocus feature set to 0 effectively, and it performed beautifully. But it's something about what I like about those D-type lenses at the time. The rendition of the colors was quite neutral, which was quite nice for skin tones. The new AFS type lenses, because they had newer coatings, I did find them to produce more saturated skin tones, which again, if you're into portrait and fashion photography, you want to go for a bit more muted tones. And so that's what I found. That's why I still love those 85 1.4D is fantastic lens, 135. Even the 2870 2.8D was one of the my first professional zooms that I actually owned, and again, absolutely amazing image quality that produced. And while 24-70 lenses were better, there was something about those lenses in terms of rendering that I really loved. All right, so Bob McLaughlin says 105 1.4, which is f-mount lens on Z7 or Z9, depending if I'm shooting sports. 100 to 400 leaves on my Z9, and 40 f2 leaves on my ZFC. Those are all really good suggestions here. Let's have a look. If you have any questions in the chat, do let us know by putting QQQ right in front of the question, so it's going to be much easier for me to see that. Thank you very much, Jay Blue. He says, happy Friday to Gray and Kon. Enjoy the coffee. Thank you very much, Jay. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Jay.
David Liu suggests D700 and 105 DC for portrait work as well. So another 105 DC recommendation. 70 to 180 micro Nikon for flowers and close-ups.
Oh, that lens.
That's rare, no?
Oh, yeah. And the first person that really talked about it to me was Heather Angel. You know, the doyenne of wildlife photographers, and she said what she loved about it was, she could get close to, say, flowers, without having to move the tripod backwards and forwards, and she raved about it. And it has always sold, pretty well here.
That's true. And I think that's why I love portraiture more than macro, because for macro, okay, if you're in a studio and you're doing some stills photography, it's one thing. You can set up and nothing is moving. No. But as soon as you get to flowers or living animals, insects, you can't just come close and leave it there. If it's flower, the wind is going to blow and it's going to move and come in and come out of the focus. And I guess you have to squat a lot as well. And
absolutely. Do you know, I think I'm right in saying that Tony Hurst uses 70 to 180.
It is highly likely, actually. Yeah, because I'm just trying to remember his setup, the photograph of his studio setup, where he had all those light modifiers around. I think there was 70 to 180 on it. Yeah. I think so. So his recommendation, if you've seen Tony Hurst's book with all those beautiful cameras and lenses, I think we've showed it on the live stream before.
We showed it, and I don't think I have a copy up here. We're almost sold out. Actually, we have got a few copies left where, say, one of the corners is bumped, but they've got brand new dust wrappers around them, and they were limited to 500 copies to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Nikon, and we're doing these ones that they've got this slight bump to the corners, which you can't see with the dust wrapper on, at a special price. And I don't think there's anyone in the world that takes photographs of Nikon cameras like Tony.
No.
And he has, the late Terence Donovan, one of the greats of the 60s photographer, he said to me, God, I wish I could take pictures like Tony Hurst. And I looked at him in disbelief, and I said, what do you mean, Mr. Donovan? He said, I can't do that. He said, Tony Hurst is a genius. And of course, Tony Hurst is one of the most modest men you could possibly wish to meet. And oh my gosh, I spent a day with him at his studio
in Dublin.
Yeah, I felt like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Because he would. What were we doing? I know we had a pre-production F4, and it was, when we took it out, we had to put some black tape over the name and the model number. But he set it up, and to light it, not only did he have conventional lighting, but he would have a little tiny tripod from some chemistry class with a grip on the end, holding one of his young daughter's Barbie doll mirrors. And I said, what's that for, Tony? And what it would do was, when light hit it, it would send the light to a certain part of the camera that would illuminate. And it was when you saw no wonder it took 4 hours to take the first shot.
Yeah.
Because it was, that whole thing about photography, writing with light, nothing could be truer than when I saw him do it. It was astonishing.
That's true. And you're slowly building it up, isn't it? So you start from one light and then eventually end up in the final image. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. We've got a great recommendation from Ted King here, Gray. You're going to love this one. He says, my favorite camera lens combination is Nikon S2 rangefinder with 50mm 1.4 lens.
Yeah. Oh, it is good because actually it was the first full-frame 35mm rangefinder. First with a lever wind instead of a knob wind. And I think I'm right in thinking it's first with 1,000th of a second. And it really opened the gate for exports, particularly to the USA. There's two versions. One called the chrome dial, where the shutter speed dial is chrome, and the later one is the black dial. They are, apart from that, absolutely identical, and they always sell really well. Because it's an easy way to get into the rangefinder system without, going to the Nikon SP.
When did you discover for yourself Nikon rangefinder system?
Oh, I can tell you exactly that. It was, I joined the Nikon Historical Society, which was started by Robert Rotoloni, who had written a book. He wrote 3 books on the Nikon rangefinder system. I had his first book, and it had this thing you could join. So I joined. And on the back cover of each journal was a picture of someone called somebody called Tony Hurst. And it was Mr. Rotoloni's thing to concentrate on the history of Nikon rangefinders in a depth which is, almost hard to comprehend. It was. It took me a while to understand the system because to me they all looked alike with the exception of the SP, and so it was a great history. But yes, it was Nikon Historical Society Journal, and then reading Robert's books, and then meeting Robert Rotoloni when he came to the shop, and then going to fairs and finding rangefinders and doing a bit of buying.
Were those sold a lot in the UK at the time or not?
I don't know, because that's quite a bit before my time. I think the original place that had them was a company called Northgate Cameras. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they were the first importers, but they imported and sold them. And then I think that Rank Audiovisual took over the Nikon name, but I think they took it over from the 35mm single end reflexes. So it'd been Nikon F, Nikomats, it's stuff like that. I don't know whether they still were using or selling the rangefinders.
When did Nikon start to import themselves into the country? Was it the 60s, 70s, or 80s?
I'm just trying to think now. I've got a feeling that it would have been probably late 60s, early 70s, because it was a gentleman called Harry Collins, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, who was working for Rank Audiovisual. And Rank, apart from being involved in the film industry and entertainment, they also had a majority of the photographic names. So they had, Broncolor lighting equipment. They had Mamiya, Pentax, Bronica, in the days when Bronica were those big clunky things, but they had Nikkor lenses and they had Nikon. And he had this wild idea of setting up independent, authorized Nikon dealers. And I think I might have mentioned this before. He went to his bosses and said, they liked the idea, and they said, I'll tell you what, you've got 1 year, 1 rep and 1 secretary. If you fail, you can't come back. And I think the first person he closed was Keith Johnson of KJP Photographic, which eventually was taken over by Pelling and Cross, and then Pelling and Cross, it was then taken over by, I think Calumet took it over, didn't they?
Okay, and then Calumet was taken over by Wex.
Calumet was taken over by Wex, yes. And I know when I first started and had this idea of, a Nikon-only soulless Nikon dealer, Harry was a very tough negotiator, but he said, we had lunch one day and he said to me, you remind me of me, he said, when I was trying to get Nikon up, and he started Nikon UK, and you're doing this. And he wrote to me not long before he passed away and said, congratulations on everything you've done. He said, I was one of the few people that believed that it would work, and how right you were. And so, Harry, wherever you are now, your next big adventure, we wish you well.
Absolutely. All right, let's look at more of your lens recommendations here. Larry DeMarch, he says Z8 with the 200mm f4 macro lens f-mount. My favorite subjects are dragonflies and damselflies. We definitely need a native Z-mount lens. Now, interesting thing, this Monster adapter that recently came out that allows to focus AFD type lenses on Z-mount. So, our technical advisor, Steve Lamb, he got one recently, and he showed it to me. It's couple of things there that are still not working. Apparently, it's a common issue. He can't stop the lens down to smaller than 5.6 effectively. So you can go from widest aperture to 5.6, and then you can change it to f8, f11, but actually it doesn't stop down, and it crashes randomly. So if you are planning to buy a monster adapter, maybe wait a little bit, see if those issues are going to be ironed out. But he's in communication with them, so hopefully once the firmware updates are there, maybe we'll be able to show it to you on our live stream.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nigel Sutton recommends 24-120, which leaves on his Z9, such a versatile combination. Absolutely agree with you. I think for a lot of people who don't want to use 24-70 f4 and don't want to jump to 24-70 2.8, 24-120 is such a nice kind of middle ground. And if you buy the camera brand new, you can generally buy something like Z6 III and Z8 together with that lens, and you can get a nice discount. Speaking of which, Nikon started their promotions in the UK. So that's on 31st, the winter promotion that's and the end of January. So have a look at this. There's lots of savings on cameras and lenses. Now, we run this deal, which is going to end on 19th of November. So it's not a Black Friday deal. It's just a special pre-Christmas deal where if you buy a brand new camera that takes CF Express card, you will get a free 512 gigabyte CF Delkin card for free, no strings attached, and that ends on the 19th. So it's not going to be running around on Black Friday or anything like this. So
it's worth £120.
It's more than that.
Is it?
It is more than that.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's close to £200 or something. I recommend.
Right?
Yeah. So because they are they're quite expensive, those CF cards nowadays. So yeah, very nice deal. I definitely recommend to check it out. And yeah, have a look at our secondhand department as well. We've got quite a few interesting things in stock.
Shall I take a break and show the special?
Speaking of secondhand items.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you gave me the key.
Yeah, Gray's got another interesting thing to share with you. And it's this little gold box on there, which contains a gold camera as well.
It does. So this is it. It's the FA Gold. This is the box for it. I'm going to pop it down here. And it comes in this box, which is Paulina wood.
With a Nikon engraved on it.
Reminds me when I used to play the bongos and and seated here is this.
I mean, Gray, I wish I would be a sheikh, you know.
Yeah.
Or run my own record label, some R&B or something, you know.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Plenty of bling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Needs a gold chain with it.
You think so? Yeah.
You know.
Nikon FA Gold. And this one, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It was made to commemorate, this is in 1984. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, thank you. It was made to commemorate, I'm just reading here, two of the industry's most coveted awards. The Grand Prix 84 and crowned European Camera of the Year. Mm-hmm. It features pure 24-karat gold plating, complemented by lizard leather. 20 parts of the FA are coated with pure gold plating, including the top cover and screws. Accessory shoe, base plate with screws, the film rewind crank, the mounting flange, which is for the lens, obviously, shutter release button, battery chamber lid, and cover for the motor drive. Now, it took two motor drives. The one that came with the was most popular was the MD-15, but the MD-12 would also would fit it. And it's fitted with a 51.4 lens with a gold mount with a special lens cap. They only made 2,000 of these. This is uncirculated. It's brand new, never been used. And I think it's about maybe the fourth or fifth one I've ever seen.
Yeah, we had one a couple of years ago, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And it's, I'm just going to pop it here. I'll read you a little bit about it because it was a highly specified camera for the period.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly because it was the first one with aperture priority, manual, shutter priority, and program mode. And TTL, full aperture metering. And it was called automatic multi-pattern metering, which is a bit of a mouthful, I know. But it measured from 5 separate areas on providing correct exposure in difficult lighting situations. ISO was from 100, and with the 50mm 1.4 lens. What else? Anything else?
Well, looking at even the lens cap is gold plated.
Yes.
So don't lose the lens cap if you got one of those.
Yeah. So also with this, if I can just find where it's gone. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So also with this is this pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And inside this is for the base plate. It's a tripod protector. Because sometimes some people put it on tripods where maybe the top hasn't got any rubberized finish and it makes noises.
Can't imagine nowadays someone will put this camera on a tripod.
And lots of ephemera. This is on the 51.4. This is a brochure about the FA Gold and in different languages. There we are. And there's so many bits and pieces here. A bit about the AIS lenses, a bit about the camera with the serial number on it, the original blank warranty card. Again, Nikon Club of Japan, which used to produce the Nikon annuals every year.
That's right.
Yeah, and
what's called Nikon Eyes, right? Nikon Eyes, that's the one?
You're thinking of the Eyes of Nikon.
Yes.
Which was the book showing all the lenses.
That's right.
No, this was the Nikon annual, which was you would send in your photographs.
Oh, I see.
If you won, you would be in the Nikon annual.
Interesting.
And this thing here. So that's it. It's super rare. It's now in stock. It's on our website, and just another one of Nikon's specials. There's only one other gold one I've ever seen, which was an FM, which they produced 300. They weren't sold in shops. They were gifts to dealers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We've had one in 40 years.
So if anyone wants to buy me this camera, it's available at Gray's Westminster. Couple of comments here. So Goldfinger theme should be playing softly now. I agree with that. There's a question in terms of won't the mechanism be all seized up if it's never been used in 40 years? Here's a ASMR edition. It's alive.
We did test it.
So hopefully, Dave, that answers your question as well. Let's have a look at more of your...
It's a good question, really, because shutters aren't meant to be fired. It's rather like leaving your car in the garage for years and then turning on the engine.
So this one is available.
Yeah.
For sale, yeah. So J Blue, yeah. Check out our website for the price there. So should be out there, and yeah, we will publish a little short on our YouTube channel probably on Sunday this week with more history of this camera specifically. And David Liu suggested a gold-plated tripod to go with this camera. Why not carbon fiber?
Yes.
Carbon plated, gold plated. Even the film was gold plated. That would be amazing as well. All right. Now back to your camera lens recommendations. I'm just going to scroll up the chart real quick. see where we've stopped. So Andy recommends ZR plus the 28-135 power zoom lens. I think it's perfect for video work, absolutely. Mizi says, I was obsessed with having Nikon 28mm 1.4D on my D3 and D610 all the time. So 28 1.4D, it's one of those rare lenses. How many did we have in the shop? I remember when I started to work, they were already sold out everywhere, and we would probably get like 1 or 2 a year.
That's right, yeah.
And they would cost thousands of pounds.
Yeah, and they never turn up secondhand.
Why? Was there just not many made, or?
That's what I suspect. Actually, there is a website, I think in New Zealand, that lists lenses with the start date, the start serial number and the end serial number. So that would be worth looking at. It's on our website. Under glossary, it's called Nikonopedia, and you can. There's a lot of data there actually on lenses, different variations of the lenses and serial numbers, so you can spot them.
Okay. I personally suggest 28 1.4E that came out way later, and it's still probably one of the best f-mount lenses ever created, because A, is very sharp, and B, the distortion is just not there. You can't even see it, and it's fantastic lens. It's big and chunky, but it was one of those top lenses they released right at the end of Nikon F-mount, where they was kind of moving towards Z-mount system, where we had 28 1.4E and 105 1.4E. I think those are kind of some of the sharpest Nikon lenses ever created. Simon has a question for us. He says, my favorite combo is Nikon ZF with 24-70 f4 because its overall compactness, sharp images, and good focal range for travel. Prefer a faster lens but lose compact size. Faster lens but lose compact size. Okay, which faster lens would we recommend for this? Well, I would suggest 24-70 2.8, the Mark II, because it's lighter than Mark I version if you want to go sharp and you want to keep the same focal distances. If you want to have a longer zoom range, 24-120 is very good. It's not as good as 24-70, but it gets really close with a much longer focal distance, a good range. But if you want a faster aperture, it's 24-70 2.8 probably would be the option there, unless you want to go prime. And there you got obviously 1.4 and 1.8 options. But yeah, 24-70 2.8 Mark II, 635 grams compared to I think 800 grams for the Mark I version. My fake Google account, which is a wonderful name, recommends Z8 and 35 1.2 lens. Ted Keane, who gave us recommendation of Nikon S2 with 51.4, he's asking us a question: do you think Nikon would ever consider making a modern day Nikon S rangefinder camera based on ZF chases?
I don't. I think that all their efforts now are trying to stay in the game.
Yeah.
With the other big players, and they would not see that this would be a particularly large market, tempting as it might be, because you've only got to really look at the DF, really, which was something that all the engineers were keen on, but from what I understand, the management wasn't. But it had a following.
Yeah, I think it's a passion project that had its dedicated followers, but it just didn't sell huge amounts because the kind of general consumer would want to go for more, let's say, modern cameras at the time. We're talking about just design language more than anything else.
Last camera designed by Tatsuro Goto.
That's right. Who did a talk with us?
Yes, well, when he retired from Nikon, I mean, they had a special area called Goto's Laboratory, because he'd been involved from every camera, I think, from the F3 upwards, right through the range up until the to the DF, and we said it would be lovely one day if you came here, give a talk to Nikon Owner magazine, and he said, I'm coming. And he gave a talk about the development of the Nikon F, of which he had an unparalleled knowledge, really. And actually, as we're on the subject of Nikon owner, have you got that picture?
Oh, well, if you continue with that, all I remember is he showed this he showed this VHS tape of the old Nikon factory, which is quite fun because they were all so young in there on that picture.
Yeah, the Ohi factory.
That's right.
Which, sadly, they had to dismantle because Japan has very, very strict rules on buildings to make them earthquake-proof. In fact, most of the temples are largely made of wood, and they're so well made they don't need any help. But they had to demolish the Ohi factory, and Goto-san kindly invited me to go over to be there at the destruction and take photographs. I wasn't able to do it, but what he did was he took chunks of the building and took a photograph and had sent over these chunks to give to some of our keen Nikon followers who, that would love the whole history. So it was having their version of the Berlin Wall, if you will.
You have a piece or two?
I do, yeah. I have a couple of pieces, yeah.
All right, I think we are ready for the reveal of the next cover of the Nikon Own magazine. So I'm just going to hit the button here. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
That is a stunning short, Gray.
Yeah, isn't it? It's by Simon Stafford, and it says it's called Winter Has Arrived. It's got a review by Moose Peterson of the 180 to 600 mil, and Gillian Greenwood's interview with Deborah Sandage, who's a Nikon ambassador. And if you remember the early part of the year, she did our New Year talk, our webinar, a stunning photographer. And Gillian has said that what she's going to do is do an extended offer, if you like it, an early Black Friday offer. So this is an electronic 1-year subscription. It's normally £49, but it's reduced to 25, and it's available until midnight on the 18th of November. So this gives you, special prices on webinars, courses, access to now 87 back issues of the magazine, free. You can download them all, and so got a technical helpline run by Simon Stafford, who does these benchmark reviews. So well worth your investing. In fact, it's actually cheaper than buying a filter.
That's true.
So I think Kon's got the link.
Yeah, I mean, I just put the link in the chat, and it's under this video as well. I mean, it is cheaper than buying Nikon Z9 as well. So for £25, I think it's definitely a good read if you're into Nikon things. And what I do find myself is I do get back to the earlier issues of the magazines because I haven't read them. Because when I started, I was looking more into all the newest lenses and new camera releases and everything. And kind of since I traveled in my photography journeys, where I started to pay attention to all the old classics that were released, that's where I come back to reviews of the film cameras and old manual glass lenses. It's something that I guess you won't be able to find anywhere else nowadays unless you have really a digital archive of all those old photography magazines. But you do have access to this when you subscribe. So it's not just what's coming out next. It's actually, you can get even the first issue if you want to. So
it's showing the legacy, really, and picking up on, it's maybe drawing attention sometimes to things that you simply wouldn't see reviewed or looked at anywhere else.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we are coming to the time. Misa is going to come in next time and bring his 28mm 1.4 to show me. I've seen it, but those lenses are rare, so we always love to see them again. Terence Allen came in today to say hello, and we weren't there, Gray, so he missed us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's watching us on the train now. It's a shame that we didn't see you, Terence, but you're always welcome.
Terence.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to see you. Now, a special announcement as well. So the 5th of December, which I think is the next Friday after Black Friday, we'll have an open event with wildlife photographer and art photographer Harris Keggs, where we will concentrate on the wildlife photography, and we'll have a lot of long lenses for you to try out. So if you are in London or you live nearby, and you're welcome to come in and see us. He's going to have 2 sessions where he's going to talk about his wildlife photography, gives you some tips and tricks, and we're also going to demonstrate some long lenses. Long lenses are generally not available for people to try out, so that's something that we want to do. So pencil it in your calendars. It's 5th of December. We will share email this weekend where you will be able to book your slot. So come and see us. It's going to be a good start of December.
Yeah.
It's all run up to Christmas now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's Christmas in London because Fortnum and Mason's, the whole of the outside of the building has got red lights and it's got numbers all the way along. So it looks like one of those special boxes that you buy and open the window and there's a chocolate inside.
Yeah, they put up Christmas lights at Regent Street as well.
Yeah, and in Elizabeth Street. And the ones in Elizabeth Street down the road are absolutely stunning. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So like an advent calendar.
Definitely. Roland is in the chart, who is, I believe, in California. He penciled this date in on 5th of December for open day. So you're going to fly over to us, to London, Roland. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah,
you don't come in very often, I think. When was the last time Roland was here? About 3-4 years ago, I think?
It probably was, yeah.
But yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to see you.
Again.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you all. Again, do share your recommendations in the comments under this video. We'll have some shots coming up, like about this gold FA and something else during the week, and we'll see you next week, the same time, 2:15 every Friday. Have a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely. Bye for now. Bye.